Welcome. Welcome to the 2023 Eric Fischl Lecture Series and Vanguard Awards. It's so awesome to see you all here tonight. Please join me in recognizing and welcoming contemporary artist and author Eric Fischl. And welcome guest artist Scott Avett. There are lots of other people to recognize here tonight and to thank this evening, but we'll get to that in just a minute. I want to introduce Jeremy to say a few words and welcome us all.
Thank you, Deb, and good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Mikulazak, and I'm the Sybil Harrington Director and CEO here at the Phoenix Art Museum. And on behalf of the entire museum, we are very excited to welcome you to the 2023 Eric Fischl Lecture Series featuring Scott Avett. We have quite an event planned this evening, and before we dive into the program, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge a few key individuals here with us this evening. I want to extend my personal thanks and welcome to representatives from Phoenix College with us here this evening, including Phoenix College President, Dr. Kimberly Britt, of course, the irreplaceable and hard to imitate and keep up with Deborah Spots, the Development Director, and of course, an incredible partner, Jay Harden, the college's art program director. Thank you, Jay. I also want to take a quick moment to, of course, welcome the many students here with us, including those with artwork on view in the Cummings Great Hall as part of tonight's student exhibition. Like Phoenix College, the Phoenix Art Museum is dedicated to supporting Arizona-based artists at every stage of their careers, including student artists. I offer my personal congratulations to you for the work on display tonight and hope you continue in your creative pursuits and endeavors. Please know that all of us here at Phoenix Art Museum are invested in and rooting for your success. And of course, none of this event or evening or any of this lecture series at all would not be possible without Eric Fischl. We are incredibly grateful for this partnership. It is almost coming on 20 years, and that's hard to believe that this program's been going on that long for 2 decades. And the impact that you have made in this community could not be replicated, so thank you for your support. And lastly, I will say that we are in for an incredible conversation this evening, and I want to extend a warm Phoenix welcome to Scott Avett for joining us. For those of you who had the opportunity to be with him in the studio through a critique or a conversation, and of course those of us which had the privilege to spend time with him last evening, I think we are in for an incredible conversation about just how amazing the creative field is and where it comes from and how they intersect and intertwine, and really looking forward to both of you gentlemen in conversation. So thank you for being here, and thank you for visiting Phoenix. Each year, the Eric Fischl Series, hosted by Phoenix College, features an exhibition of student artwork, the presentation of the prestigious Vanguard Awards, and a lecture or conversation with an internationally recognized artist or arts professional. A program like this offers a meaningful opportunity for students, emerging and developing artists, and community members to not only enjoy engaging conversations about art, but gather inspiration, wisdom, and insight that they can use to further shape their own artistic practices and careers. Phoenix Art Museum is thrilled to be the chosen venue for this invaluable series, and also as a reminder, and thanks to the generosity of the Men's Arts Council, one of the museum's oldest support organizations, students of Phoenix College and all institutions under the umbrella of Maricopa Community College District have access to the museum through the MC3 at PAM program, providing free admission to the museum with valid student ID at any single point in which we are open. So I hope you take advantage of that and see us as a valuable resource, not only in your education, in the arts, but also in your daily lives as well. It is truly an honor and privilege to be in front of you this evening. I want to congratulate the students. It is always exciting to see the work that you are making, and we hope to see you as future artists on the walls of the museum. So please join me in welcoming Deborah Spotts, Phoenix College's Director of Development, who will share more with us about the history of the Eric Fischl Lecture Series and its enduring impact on the Valley arts community. Thank you so much for being here.
I told them I'm just going to stay sitting down. That was awesome. We'll just introduce Eric and Scott and be done. Hopefully you received a program when you came in. If not, there are some at the back. Tonight we celebrate the arts and the incredible artists working locally, nationally, and internationally. And I've heard it explained, and Eric says in his book, art helps us look at things differently and see things in a new way. And I think when I quote your book to you, you're like, did I write that? I don't remember that. As Eric also points out, there are synergies between art and many, even every aspect of life. So I'm excited to talk about some of those tonight and hear them talk about some of those things tonight. I want to share a little bit about Eric and how this series started. Eric said he feels a sense of obligation to give back to the place where he was allowed to be an artist for the first time, and is motivated to help students feel that same sense of awareness and call themselves artists. He formed a partnership with Phoenix College in 2005, and it's grown into an established program supporting Phoenix College student artists. For the first few years, the program was at PC, and the conversation and the Vanguard Art Awards all happened at the campus. And there was a year when, I think it was Ralph Gibson was the artist, and it was a standing room only. And the Art Museum started to take notice of what was happening and reached out to Eric, and the partnership was formed, and here we are. So in 2008 for the first time, the lecture was held here, and the student artists displayed their work in the Great Hall, and it is an incredible, incredible life-changing honor for these students to see their work and see themselves in this space, and we're just so thankful for it. In 2009, the Fischl Scholars Program was created with the goal of increasing the number of students who were pursuing an arts degree at Phoenix College in preparation for university transfer. Since 2005, Eric has returned to Phoenix College to host this series, minus the COVID blip, of course. And this year's guest artist is Scott Avett, and we're going to hear from him in just a few minutes. Again, welcome, Scott. The last weekend, local artists reviewed pieces that were submitted to the student art competition in 4 categories. They chose first, second, and third place winners in 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, media arts, and photography. And I want to congratulate all of those winners, and we're going to ask them to stand and be recognized, and then in a moment we'll award the Vanguard Awards, and I'll explain what that is. If you're here, please stand. John Vasquez. Tiffany Perez. Is Tiffany here? Deborah Smythe. Monica Castillo. Alex Ozers, and I'm sorry if I pronounced your name properly. Marina Naito. Carla Martinez Lopez. Diana Heinz. Maddie French. Monica Spencer. Sorry. Rory Lynn. And Javier Soltz. Yesterday, Scott and Eric evaluated the work submitted to the showcase, selecting the best in show in the same categories to receive the Vanguard Award tonight, which includes a lovely little crystal piece, but I think probably more importantly, the bragging rights of being a Vanguard Award winner and $2,500. And the Fischl Series culminates tonight with the student art exhibition, presentation of the awards, and then a conversation with Eric and Scott. We have a number of former Vanguard Award winners and Fischl scholars in the room with us. So if you're a former Vanguard Award winner and Fischl scholar, please stand and be recognized. A number of them are out working in the community, and you can see their art. And this is my favorite part of this program, is to see where these students go after they leave PC. This is Edgar, and he recently told me that he gained experiences at PC that have shaped his artwork, and his work can be seen all across the valley in the city of Glendale, and he's working on his 8th solo show. Esteban Curiel is here with us tonight, and he completed a bachelor's degree at ASU, and then became an arts educator at Phoenix Elementary, and recently worked on a project at Park Central, which is pictured there. And the other woman, the former Vanguard Award winner in this photo, is Mackenzie Heineman, and she completed her MFA in Florida and now lives and works and teaches in Texas. So these students are actively impacting their community now and shaping the future of art in their own way, just like this program is doing. Our goal is to grow the program so that we can create opportunities for more students, and PC's biggest champion for creating opportunities for students is Phoenix College President Dr. Kimberly Britt. She experienced firsthand the life-changing impact that education and the support of caring faculty, coaches, staff can have on your life and on your trajectory. After earning her bachelor's degree in English from Charleston Southern University and then a master's degree in English, and in her PhD in higher education administration from the University of South Carolina, near where Mr. Scott is from, her educational journey shaped her vision for what is possible for students. And she's driven to help students defy poverty, the statistics, and overcome hurdles that prevent them from achieving anything that they want and dream. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Britt to the podium to say a few words and thank a few people.
Good evening. What a wonderful event. Anytime we gather to celebrate students and their success, it's a good day. In fact, it's a great day. I look forward to this. This is my second year having the honor to be here with those who champion our students and support them. I want to acknowledge two people on the front row who make me look like I have my act together every day. That's Dr. C.J. Wooster, our newly appointed Vice President for Academic Affairs. C.J. And Dr. Heather Cruzy, Vice President for Student Affairs. They are extraordinary champions of our students and their vision, their purpose, and their passion. And I am so proud of my team, and that includes Deb Spots, who really does a great job of handling me and getting me to where I need to be on time, and fixes my tie occasionally. For more than 100 years, I think we're going on 103, and I'm really proud of this. Phoenix College has been serving the community in the heart of Phoenix, offering instruction in fine and performing arts, liberal arts programs, university transfer pathways, technical degrees, and even in programs that you wouldn't think that require so much technology, knowledge, to share your talent, to share what you do every single day. The Fischl program is a model for how private and public partnerships bridge education, the community, and business sectors. It takes us all today as the rising cost of education creeps up on us every single day. The people who are here that make this possible for these students, for these people with dreams, you are invaluable. Whether you're giving of your time, your money, your talent, you're making things and removing barriers for our students so that they can succeed. And I offer you my heartfelt thanks on behalf of all of these students out there. Most significantly, tonight we have platinum partners in the room, and my screen just moved on me. Technical difficulties. How do I go back? Like I said, thank you. I want to acknowledge our platinum sponsors and supporters in the room. Veritech Solutions. Jack, Chris, Lisa, you are making so much happen here, and we are extremely grateful to you. Thank you. Fischl Scholarship founding supporter Dan Withers is with us this evening. Dan, your partnership is making dreams come true, and the evidence is up there this evening. Thank you, Art Solutions and Installations, Blick Art Metals, photographer Matt Young, does a great Photoshop on presidents. And also, thank you, Phoenix Art Museum, for partnering with us to showcase our student artists and present this event. Your partnership is greatly needed and appreciated so that we can continue to provide opportunities for rising artists. And our faculty who are in the room, thank you. I started my career as an English faculty. It was my wildest dream, and I try to lead just like I taught. I invest in people to hopefully make a difference. And the reason that is so important to me is because I come from very humble beginnings. And so when I look at our students who have full-time jobs, full-time families, and full-time life challenges, here you are making it and killing it. And you are to be commended for that. Having grown up and spent time in a group home, I often miss that family support and the champions. And where I found my launch pad was at Charleston Southern University. I chose a small college because I knew I was so shy, believe it or not. I would be consumed. And the donors, the president, the faculty, the administration made a huge and profound impact on me overcoming some of the greatest life obstacles I think that students can face. And so when I say to you tonight, tonight is just the beginning. It is just the beginning for you and where you're headed. Where we start in life never determines where we go. It never determines what we succeed. But what makes that difference is when really talented people reach back and extend a hand to us and see our talent and recognize that. So Eric and Scott, thank you so much for what you're doing for these young students. It only took Michael Bolton giving me a ticket to his concert when I was a freshman in college to change my trajectory and for him to say, "You've got this." It goes a long way when we are seen and we feel valued, particularly by those who have paved a way for us. I want to introduce Eric to you. He is an internationally acclaimed painter, sculptor, author, and entrepreneur. His extraordinary achievements throughout his career have made him one of the most influential artists of our time. He was born in New York City and grew up in the suburbs of Long Island. He began his art education in Phoenix at Phoenix College when his parents moved to Arizona in the late 1960s. He went on to earn a BFA from the California Institute for the Arts. He first received critical attention for depicting the darker undercurrents of mainstream American life during a time when such subjects were not considered a legitimate genre for art. Paving the way. Paving the way. Eric's paintings, sculptures, drawings, and prints have been the subject of numerous solo and major group exhibitions, and his work is represented in many museums as well as prestigious and private art collections. He is a fellow at both the American Academy of Arts and Letters and the American Academy of Arts and Science. Eric, I cannot thank you enough for what you're doing for our students. In fact, he credits an art teacher. He says, my art teacher, Merrill McAfee, stripped away my preconceptions about art, and in doing so ignited my passion for making it. Artist and retired PC faculty member Merrill McAfee inspired and challenged Eric, just as Eric is now inspiring and challenging all of our students who are in this room tonight. Beyond the legacy of their own art, Merrill in his time, and now Eric, and the Fischl program helped shape artists, budding artists, students who are coming from any place and going as far as they want to go. Because you see them, you support them, you teach them, and you keep me straight so that they can have what they need. Thank you for supporting the Vanguard Awards, for bringing great artists like Scott and Eric to Phoenix. Please join me now in welcoming Eric Fischl to the stage.
No, I'm not gonna. You're gonna just share a few words about why you did this, and then we're gonna read some, and then read that part, and then I'll come up and we'll give some awards away.
So we're not doing Scott yet.
Not yet, not yet. Excellent.
I gotta keep them all straight, all of
Yeah.
them, it's all good.
All right, first I'm saying this,
Talk about,
and then I got it, okay. So professional. But hey, come on. Yeah, first of all, I said to Dr. Britt that that speech he just gave was incredibly moving, very poignant, powerful, certainly something that I've identified with as well. I just want to say amen to that, yeah. And as she said, and as Deborah said eloquently about the genesis of what we're trying to do, which, by the way, you can't believe it's been almost 20 years until you look at me. So I'm sitting there looking at him going, God, I was so thin. Anyway, the idea being, which has already been stated, was that you, as we all have experienced, come from backgrounds that are complicated, to say the least. And they're backgrounds that oftentimes make us feel like we don't belong there. And then it becomes a journey of trying to find where we actually do belong. And one of the things that I found as a beginning art student at PC was that there was a community of people that shared both my, more or less my experiences and my passions. And also, we bonded on a very healthy, competitive spirit where we were, spending a lot of time trying to blow each other's minds. And I highly encourage that as part of the creative process. It's you need your peers to, either make you look good or make you look bad, right? So You know, keep that in mind. Anyway, what I got from Phoenix College and then ASU for a year, and then finishing in Cal Arts was both a clarification that this is the life that I want to be, and that this is the only life I want to do, and what my obligation is to get better at it. That I knew that I had no other choice but to be an artist. And so I hope that the people that we're recognizing are also going to find that spirit, that drive, that purpose. And, you know, and then when you get really good, we're going to have to kill you. What? What? Did I say something wrong? Anyway, so I'm really proud to be a part of this. You know, it's one of those things that was a simple idea, and it just worked. And those are the best things that you can hope for. So, and I've certainly had a lot of support of the people here to help make it more real, more solid. And I owe a great deal of thanks to all of them, even though I can't remember their names. What? Now, what am I supposed to do?
We're going to give away some awards.
All right, let's do that.
So Eric and Scott evaluated some work yesterday, and we're going to award some Vanguard Awards tonight. 67 students have been awarded a Vanguard Award.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been keeping...
Yeah.
And tonight we're going to recognize the 2023 Vanguard Award recipients. As we call your name, Scott, if you'll join us on stage, we're going to do a little handshaking and picture taking and awarding of awards.
Okay. And you want me to say them, or you want to say them, and we'll just stand there looking good?
You stand there and look good, and I'm going to say their names.
Are we looking good?
All right.
All right.
I have to find the right sheet that has the names on it, and I'm going to find it. Ah, I found it. Excellent. The first recipient this evening is Monica Castillo. And then we'll stand in the middle.
Congratulations. Yeah, great work.
How about this? There you go. Perfect. The next recipient, Christian Lopez.
Good job. Yeah, congratulations.
Oh, yeah, there you go. He's like, I'm going to drop it. Danny Martinez Lopez.
Congratulations.
And Monica Spencer. Come on down. We'll take one group photo, and then we're going to let Eric introduce Scott. Congratulations to the 2023 Vanguard Award winners.
And then
And
his
you,
bio is right there.
And then do the bio first, and then, okay, great.
No, you can sit. In fact, you can sit down if you like.
Yeah. So I want to, I got two things. One is I'm going to do a sort of formal introduction of who Scott is, and then I'm going to read something that I wrote about him and why I wanted him here. So the formal one is that Scott is best known as a co-founder of the Grammy-nominated folk rock band, the Avett Brothers. He earned a BFA in studio art from East Carolina University in 2000 and explores life in the American South in large-scale figurative paintings and vibrant palettes. His work is described as psychologically charged, emotionally intense, featuring at times intimate, vulnerable, and honest portrayals of his family and himself. While Scott grew up in the rural South and is now raising a family there, his work is also influenced by the cultural and artistic influence he encountered in the years he spent on the road touring. His art making has been solitary, creative pursuit compared to his life as a musician, singer, and rock star. I added that. After decades of creating visual art, free of exhibition deadlines and audience, Avett had his first museum exhibition in 2019 at North Carolina Museum of Art, which highlighted his work across 20 years, spanning multiple disciplines of painting, printmaking, and sculptural objects. So that's more or less the formal side of it. This was something I wrote for a catalog that went with Scott's exhibition at the Hexton Gallery, right? Was it there, or was it?
It was for the book.
It was for the book, okay. You never know where this stuff goes, so. Anyway, I titled the piece, "Just Down the Road from Paradise." And it goes like this: Scott Avett is a realist. He paints his family with an observant eye and confident brushstrokes. Over the course of his painting life, he makes little reference or no reference to the larger world, current events, or foreign soil. When you look out the window of Scott's painting, you see his backyard. Realist painters tend to believe that detail can transcend its own description, that they can get at meaning without giving up appearance. They need to believe that underneath what the world looks like is what it actually means. The significance of Scott's work comes from accretion, or comes with accretion. His paintings are moments of small intimacies that from one painting to the next accumulate a density, and the scenes of domestic life are not particularly urgent or overly meaningful. They are the opposite, unabashedly familiar, almost banal, and yet they transcend the ordinary and even the personal. Here's what his paintings picture: the mother of his children, his wife, taking off her pantyhose. His son is staring into a bowl of cereal. His daughter is staring impatiently at him. His kids are propped up on their mother's lap or squirming on his. We see kids stuck in mud, father dressed in costumes, a wife naked. Scott paints his family's journey, though he didn't start the journey at the beginning. He picked up the thread a few years after, down the road, when the kids were old enough to run around, only half watched, playing make-believe, making noise, falling down, hurting themselves. These moments, seemingly sentimental, are significant. These are the paintings that embody pleasure, tenderness, and even a quiet fatigue. There is a feeling in his work that paradise, though no longer present, is still fresh in memory, even as the novelty has begun to wear off and the routines establish order and expectations. The work is about the love that nurtures growth and tears at you as you watch what you've nurtured grow and grow apart. These paintings capture that time in one's life when you begin to sense that the paradise you've created also has borders. And as I said, Scott's a realist. So let's welcome Scott. Hello.
Check.
It is on. Can you hear me? No,
This happened last year too, didn't
they can't. Hello.
Check, 1, 2.
No.
Is there anything on this thing? Should I put it in my mouth?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it works. This is what you did last year.
Yeah. Does it work?
It does work. Yeah.
Fuck.
Speak into it.
We'll get someone to come.
Really
fix it.
dig into it. See what happens. You want to start with this one and then hand it to me, or we can? Yeah, we'll roll. Yeah, after that great thing that Eric wrote, so poetic and so flattering and beautiful. I'm so excited about this because when Eric and I met in 2015, this is exactly how we met in his studio. And since then, this will be the third time we've done it in public for an audience. And it's been so unique because it's been this conversation that we have in the car, wherever we're going. We have it at lunch. We just kind of carry on, and it happens on stage in front of us. I thought it was special, and that I was the only person that he did this with, and now I realize that this is not the case. That Eric sort of does that with everybody, and it's
Hello.
not just me, but so I don't know which button to push here.
Are you calling me a slut?
In a way, yes, you are. You are an artistic slut, Eric. Is that the wrong button? All right. Okay, no, it's working. All right, I'm going to start in the time period that Eric, I think that Eric and I met. Okay. So I'm just going to scroll through some of these because when I met Eric, I was, it was in, like I said, 2015. And for me, art school was a place where a bunch of people gathered and made pictures and gathered for band practice and Beau's art balls and just all types of curiosities that we were chasing and following. And when I left school, I made a commitment to a professor of mine and to myself to continue painting no matter what. Some of you have heard this story before. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but the point is that when I graduated in 2000, I said, I will keep a studio. I will paint. I'm going to paint. I'm going to paint. I'm going to make pictures. I knew that much. I'm not going to stop, because I was warned that a lot of graduates do stop for some reason. A lot of adults stop for some reason. A lot of children stop for some reason. But I decided not to stop. So when I met Eric, I had read his book, and I wasn't as familiar with Eric's work as I was with him. Now that I read his book, I'd seen his work as a student, and he was known as this sort of dangerous artist. It was a work that was, as they said, the dark side of American life, and you could see that and feel it in it. And but getting to know him in the book, I wanted to come to his studio to really see how he worked in practical terms, not so much to meet the man. I feel like I knew him now from his book, and I looked forward to that, but I also wanted to see how he set this studio up. How could I gather clues on how to apply paint like he applies paint? That was really what was important to me. And in 2015, when I visited him, we revealed that, it was revealed that we were artist soulmates. It was he wrote that in a book he gave me, and it was very true. It was just like that, the connection and the conversation. We didn't miss a beat. We still don't. These are the works I was showing Eric at the time, when he could tell you the story about how he cringed when I said I'm an artist and musician. He can explain that however he would like to. But
Well, it's kind of your worst nightmare, right? I've been listening to the Avett Brothers music for a long time, and then all of a sudden get a call that one of them wants to show me their paintings.
that's not exactly what they said, but yeah, that's probably what Eric heard.
So you kind of, you hope that it's not awkward.
Yeah.
And the painting, was it you or Dolph sent the painting?
I guess Dolph did.
Dolph sent me some images. It was funny because I actually received them. I was with Steve Martin, and I told Steve, I said, "Oh God, I'm gonna, blah blah blah." And then I get the images, and I go, "Holy shit, he's the real thing." And I show him to Steve, and he goes, "God, he's really good." And it was like, whoo.
So then he said, you could come to the studio. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, please be my friend. I mean, I'm not shallow.
And these are the works. We can come back to anything as we get going, but these are the works he wrote about, but these are the works that I was showing him at the time. Let's see.
The thing that I find so compelling is, one, the authenticity of his vision that is wrapped up in the, finding a way of recording the daily life of something that can so easily become sentimental or nostalgic or, fall short. And someone said that sentimentality is aiming for the heart and missing. And that has always stuck with me as something that is the line you walk as an artist, that you paint these things that are, so present in your daily life in a way that could just be, ooh, coodly, sweet kind of thing, and yet they aren't. So somehow they're monumentalized and become profound as a larger experience, more something that we all can identify with, even if we don't have children or, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's, extraordinary.
Well, I think that happens in songs too. When you're digging into a concept in a song or a narrative, and you're like, well, who wants to? I have a friend that sent me a song we wrote. We were working on it together. I sent him lyrics and it never came back. So hopefully it will come of something. But the first part of the song was he was just describing that he loves his partner so much, and so he decided that this morning he'd bake a cake for them. And he's going through seeing the flour, and then he hits his hand on the drawer and how the flour sort of clumps up in some spot, and he's giving all these details of these little mundane things. As I listened to it, it just broke my heart because I understood it. And I had that same story that happened to me, like making a cake for someone. That then I destroyed. Yeah, anyway. And then I sent him a bridge and used the idea of swinging in a park with this person as also swinging with other people in a romantic sense, and I never heard back from him. So I don't know if he liked the idea, but it sort of nodded at it, and I thought it was great, but it was just a hint, but I just never heard back from the...
Never
I was like, well, okay, it was just my idea.
Well, the thing points to both us, the spirit of, and also the complicated or complications of, how do you capture that? How do you capture the both the image, the meaning, the feeling, and so the same applies to music, right?
Sure.
It's like how do you sing about stuff that it just keeps moving us, even though it's so ordinary.
Yeah. This is totally. It's as we look through. I certainly have a lot to say about that as far as committing to and having trust in an image or a concept that is just that you know that it will resonate, but you don't have to know why or necessarily be in charge of that. You just have to be. For me, I just have to be committed to the discipline of, in that case, painting, or in the other case, writing and recording this song to its fullest. I would say, since there is, so I hope that we can talk about some of the art stuff that we talk about as far as technical things, maybe. But when I showed work to Eric, these pieces that you're seeing. Eric did what he did. I was thinking about it. In this whole thing, Eric has done so much to tell, and we talked about this in the critique today, a group of people that, hey, basically, this is worth doing. You have a reason to keep going. Here's the evidence. I can't tell you if you're going to be rich from it or if you're going to make whatever somebody else is going to call a masterpiece or if it's going to make you happy even. But that's not the point. You're not here to do that. You do show evidence that you have a reason to keep doing this. And so many of the students here that we spoke with and looked at the artwork, I mean, it's obvious you have a reason. There's plenty of reason to keep going. What Eric did for me was the same thing in that point in my life. As artists, as an artist, in my case, I'm always learning and always studying, and there's always a teacher coming in and out of my life. I was very grateful when I met Eric, and Eric told me with that affirmation, like when he said what Steve said, it was kind of like, no, you don't need to stop. You need to keep doing this. He didn't say that exactly because he probably didn't know I was thinking, I should be either this or that. Why am I like, who am I kidding? And it was a bit of a crisis for me at the time. And Eric reaffirmed something. And in proper Eric fashion, Eric said, basically, you're the real thing. Keep doing what you're doing. But this part right here, this that you're doing, sucks. And you need to change it. And you need to look at it, and you need to improve upon it. And it went into a critique quickly. And what he said to me was simply, where are your backgrounds compositionally? He said, where are your backgrounds? And so that's where I began these. That was a reaction to my first conversation with Eric. So, well, I'll just paint on a shape then. That's fine. And you can make your own background if you want one, Eric. And so this was part of that rebellion. These were, then they sort of like, okay, maybe I won't cut it out. And so then I started to think more about, okay, well, it's just a chair and a floor and a window back there, but I'll paint it. Fine. And so this started again. This is a painting that I started probably in 2011 and came back. It had no background, and I finished it with the background. Still simple backgrounds, but following through with them, staying committed to them. That's part of the same. So what Eric did, we can go back to those later, but for me was important and something that was happening for me in school all the time. Let's see. But very much necessary for me, and I was very grateful for it.
I think what you're saying speaks to an aspect of the creative process in which you might have a handle on the content. You know what you're going for. You've got this thing, whatever it is. You know what it is. And then this other thing happens, which is, where is this thing that, where am I going to put this thing that has the meaning, that drives the thing to the place that, it's all present, all exposed and stuff. And it's what you're describing is, of course, what we all face. As to that, either whether it's something where you know what you want to paint, but you don't know where it is that you want to put it, and then the process is just trying to find that, right? And when you find it, they're unified in some way. And in the case we're talking about, is it backgrounds that are descriptive, or are they gestural, or are they inferring something, or are they defining something? All those things are what every painter faces when they're trying to construct a meaningful painting experience. So I think...
Well, I can see that in music. Like for me, Seth will say something when we're composing a song. It may sound strange, but melody would be the last thing that I would bring into the conversation, where Seth would be saying, this is very important. Like the melody was this. And I'll say, well, okay, where the lyrics were the thing that I was really hung up on, and they're the subject matter sort of. And this breaks open into a big conversation about distinguishing important parts of the canvas and less important parts of the canvas, which it doesn't add up. It's not the case. Where he'll bring it in and knowing that negative space and the melody is all important, just as the lyrics are. And I can see that with that approach to it. It's a fault of mine when I get lazy or want to avoid a challenge. That's
Wait a minute. Are you saying when you get lazy, you go for melody as a way of dealing with it, or what is that? How do you?
I abandon it completely.
Uh-huh. It'd be great to talk a little bit about, working with your brother.
Yeah.
And how you make a song, how you write a song, how ultimately the song becomes an album, et cetera, et cetera. What is happening? So, does one start something and the other one move in and start to help shape it? Is that?
Very much so. Now with technology and being being capable of so much remote work, it's very easy to, in your own comfort, the comfort of your own space, to make something in that intimate, secretive place, like the painting studio. It's such a solitary and quiet space. You can kind of do that with yourself, which I really love, and then pass that to Seth, and I don't even have to give it any direction. Just what comes back may come back. That's definitely a newer way of doing it.
Will you put? You'll send him something that's music, and he'll put words to it.
That's happened before. I send a lot of unfinished pieces that will have like a chorus and a verse, or just a verse, and then Seth's much more disciplined in his finishing. He'll what's the word? I don't want to say force, because it's not a force. He'll work with the thing until it's done. I'm liable to leave it and not get back to it for 8 years. It tends to happen, It tends to happen. I mean, and it happens with painting sometimes too, but it doesn't happen as much with paintings now, I don't think.
These are paintings.
These are paintings. So that's, that kind of segue is good, because my relationship with legal pads and notebook paper and writing, and what it means from doodling as a child and taking notes, business notes from when we were starting as a group and figuring out how to pay each other and who to call. What does this one say? But anyway, just words on a page. What would it mean to make big versions of this?
And how big are these?
What are they? 66 by 51 inches. So
Yeah, so they're big.
they're close to that. That's close to, not quite that big, but they're close to that.
Yeah, I think when I saw the first ones of these, and I haven't seen all of them, but the first ones, I was thinking, what the what? I mean, how do you decide? Yeah, this is art.
Yeah, I have no idea.
No,
I have no idea. Maybe it's not. I was telling Eric earlier today, we were talking, so I'm gonna go way to now. So after I would do it, work a piece. So this is more now, not that so much. Well, this is a good example. So for instance, these pieces, this is large, 84 by 60. So these are painted with a grid. The idea for some of these paintings that I'll show you in this style are, I try to choose the imagery as fast, as frivolously as I just put as little time into choosing what I'm going to paint as possible. So scrolling through, trying to find something that I wasn't thinking about painting when I took the picture. Something will help me with the decision, but I'll make it quick. And then I commit to this would be a 4-month-long painting, because it's on a grid system, so there are 2 or 3 inch squares that I would start in the middle and build out. Very calculated, knowing exactly, I can time out how long it's going to take me. It's exhausting, and it's relatively thick painting, and it's a lot of looking and thinking. That's not true. It's not so much thinking. It's really just a lot of looking, because all the thinking's been done. So when I'm done with that, the notebook pages feel like a frivolous endeavor. We talked about that a little bit. So it's nice for a palette cleanse.
So you don't grid off the notebook?
Notebook. Well, I did grid. Yes, I have done that before.
Uh-huh.
But no, the most of them, no. I have gridded some notebooks, but those that you saw, no, I just grid the lines and then paint and then see what happens to draw. It's an interesting relation. What I found in that was, when you have a big piece of notebook paper in front of you and you say, I want to put something on that, How in the world can you put something on it with sincerity? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this challenge, you see the one that was just whited out because it was just like, you are full of shit, Scott. You are full of shit. Like, you put something up and you go, come on. How do you do it? So that was the challenge. That was the first one I did. I said, okay, this is interesting. So some days I would put whatever and it'd feel great. Some days it'd be like, no, it's contrived. And so I don't know where that's going. I haven't worked it all out yet. They've become a little more like relics, so I make them even bigger now, and they're a little more designed. But anyway, more to come on that, I guess. This was a piece that, after all the plywood paintings, this was the last plywood painting I did in that whole round, and then I put it away and then completed it last year. And it's called the Wheel of Boy. And the idea is just all these, which it's not even close to all of them, but these phases in the life of being a boy, which I still remember and still deal with. Some of these you see in between are screen prints. Another thing that I've accumulated many screens, and that's another sort of.
Don't you also have a litho press?
I have I don't know what it's called. It's a
or-
big tackish. I don't know what those are called, if they're relief prints or I print linoleum cut blocks on them. I forgot all the technical names about them. After the pandemic, when I had to go back on tour, because during the pandemic I painted a ton, I'd gotten into that grid thing, and as we were going back on the road, it was going to be kind of a busy time, especially with protocols and everything. I was packing up the studio like I'll do sometimes, and said, I'm not going to stop. I had just really developed some chops that I hadn't had before. So I took the grids with me on the road. And so what these are 8x8 inch wood panels that I took on the road and painted on the bus in afternoons in like 30-minute or hour-long sessions, would just draw with pencil, then paint acrylic.
Did you invent the peanut butter
Bread with sprinkles? I did
Or
not.
did-
That is just an observation.
Is this something your kid came up with?
Something the kid came up with. I don't know which kid. I mean, I have a hunch, but
That yellow's butter, right?
huh?
That's that yellow butter.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, it's cheese.
It's cheese.
Cheese.
So it's
So it's peanut butter, sprinkles,
peanut
and
butter,
cheese.
sprinkles, and cheese sandwich.
Yep.
Life's amazing.
It is, and that's what I'm talking about. Like when I was committing to that, I said, I'm going to commit to this, 3 months long of painting this piece of bread.
Yeah.
You don't know that. I mean, I don't know if I'm thinking about that paying off. It doesn't really make sense at all. So I don't think we need to think in terms of things paying off. And this too, like anybody will tell you, if you paint roadkill, people don't buy it.
What I was told in a sort of cautionary way by my first art dealer was, if you want to sell a painting, a woman in a white dress. If you never want to sell a painting, frontal male nude.
But what? Wait though, because I was commissioned for a nude self portrait. So, but I didn't have to do it frontal, but I did. I chose to do it frontal.
Did we see it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
we
here,
saw
it's
it,
here.
right?
Well, you didn't see it. I mean, I scrolled through it really fast, but
We saw some male.
I was
nude.
always the one that got naked on the bus and ran around. So it makes sense. Let's see. I did 3 of them, so he would have one to choose from. Hoping that he would buy the triptych, but no, he didn't. It was
Yeah.
just the one.
Yeah. Just had to have all of myself naked. Yeah. The strategies that artists go through to make sales. I remember a woman.
That's one.
I
of
know
them.
a wonderful. That's one of them.
Yeah, but that's not the full frontal. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. So is that one and that one.
Well, if my body looked like that, I'd never wear clothes. I mean,
Well, that was a while back.
yeah. I knew an artist who did a show of landscapes out in Aspen, and where she went to collectors' houses, and drew from a view right out their window. So they had to buy it. I mean, I was thinking, how smart is that? I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think I'm kind of a good example for the students here of my output. You know, it quadrupled after you and I spoke and our interactions, and that was up to me. But the things you said, and the encouragement, your sharing of the abundance that you have experienced in your life, which is the point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's incredible. I mean, any of us that find ourselves with an abundance of love or I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
If you call it talent or accumulation of something, but
Or anger.
anger, darkness.
Anger's a good place to start.
Sure. Well,
Right?
that's certainly where we start.
Yeah. I don't think that's a part of your sensibility, which always blows my mind, because
I mean,
I was pure rage at the beginning. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I coach girls soccer, and I don't know why that's funny.
Can I
But,
tell?
no,
Can I
I'm kidding.
tell a story?
Yeah, you can tell a story.
Okay, so yesterday we're driving over to the college, and he says, I got to take this call. He coaches a middle school girls soccer. And he was saying they had a game, and he had to talk to them over the phone to sort of, give them some encouragement and tell them what to do and stuff. So we're driving, and the call comes in, and the assistant coach sort of hands it to or points it out so the girls can hear it. And Scott does this incredible, yes, I would die for you if he was my coach kind of pep talk, And it was also nurturing and just fabulous. I mean, I was almost in tears and wanted to go play, because it was like, this like total, you can do it. It wasn't too heavy in the, you better do it side of the thing, but you can do it, and I'm proud of you, and blah, blah, whatever. But beautiful, simple. And they went out, and within like the first 10 minutes scored 4 goals, right? So, and they also was what do they call it, a mercy stop or something, where they were killing the other team they just had to stop it. So we're riding back, and Scott's telling me about how before a concert, he's talking to his band, and the first thing he says to them as they're getting ready to go out is, we're all going to die. And I don't want it to be me first. So let's go have a good concert. I thought it was such a fabulous contrast.
That's not exactly. The whole soccer part was beautiful. That was great.
Well,
I-
what did you say to them?
I said, guys, we have every right to be so grateful to be this. We should just take this in. We're not going to get, you only get so many of these, because at least a couple of us are not going to live as long as we think we are. And just so it's clear, I hope that I'm not one of those in this group. But we can't take this for granted, guys. So that was my pet
It
talk
was
for the
much
band.
more eloquent than I said it, that's for sure.
We're all going to die.
We're all going to die.
That's probably been said before. We have a little mic on stage that we can talk to each other, because we have to be able to talk to the monitor guy sometime. And we have to be very careful that we don't ever turn to the mic that's to the crowd. Make sure we're speaking to the one that's in the ears, because...
Have you made that mistake where you didn't think it was?
Yeah, but subtly,
Oh,
not
okay.
like, it's little. Yeah, it hasn't been. Yeah, this is the same process with the fast decision on what it was going to be. Trust that it was going to sort of narrate itself. Like the narration would be there, and it was after I did it. This is a bit of just an exploration, screen print and acrylic.
This is your dad, right? Or
That is Thomas Merton and my
oh, that's
grandfather.
Merton. Okay.
Yeah, this is lesser known mystic.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather Clegg Avett, who was a very unique Methodist minister in the from the 40s to the 70s in North Carolina. His incredible story, and a lot of his sermons are still typed. He was this blue collar intellect who championed the cause for the people that were hurting and the people that were down and out. My grandmother used to have to tell him, "Now, Clegg, the rich people need help too." He said, "I know, Martha, I know." But he was just so good at that. And there's some earlier work, obviously, for a figurative painter, for the painters out there that are figurative painters. Caravaggio was, the chiaroscuro lighting is something that I've always loved and attempted. This was a painting during the pandemic when we had power go out, that we had a candle. And I went back to that dark red ground to paint from to see what could happen. So it's a very dark painting. I don't know what I'm doing that for. It's not there, right? Yeah. It's a screen print on a window shade. Another screen print from Rome, where a bus was burning. That's Leo Tolstoy.
That's Rick Rubin.
Nah, Leo Tolstoy. It looks just like Rick.
Who
right?
was it? Who was it?
It's Leo Tolstoy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks
I
just
can't
like Rick.
see.
Right?
I'm looking.
It does look. It looks just like.
Is that Joe?
That's my other grandfather there, but that's a chair. There's
I could have gotten that one.
Clegg again. Linoleum cut. Me and Eric were talking a lot about the bouncing from mediums, and how for some artists, you know it's their work when you see the work. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about artists that's not always true, and that the common denominator is the artist, not really the look or the thing. And Eric knew a painter that I've studied a fair amount. I really love him. Eric knew him well, so Eric's perspective of him is a real one. Mine is probably a little romanticized. But Malcolm Morley is a painter that I appreciate and relate to who he was and how he navigated his subject matter and his choices, and they were never consistent for long. They were consistent in periods, it looked like, but and his approach and his process, which I find in the work that I'm doing now. For instance, like a piece like this, which doesn't look like this anymore. Hopefully what's happening is, I don't really know. I guess I'm letting it paint me, sort of, if that could be said. This is second to the most recent thing I'm working on now. This isn't the completed piece, but so breaking out of the large rectangular composition into shape pieces that are breaking the plane. More shape pieces. A sticky note that says, "Come here with your phone." And then this is the most recent piece I just finished that will.
Is that a diptyque? It's two panels,
It's one,
or it's
one piece.
One
it's just
thing
split.
to split.
Yeah, it's just split. And I think I just finished this a week and a half ago. Very little time deciding what I did think that the boy coming out of the room was pretty interesting. But I really needed to paint, because this one right now and what I'm doing, this one here kind of got out of hand. And the studio, obviously, it had taken over the whole studio, and it was a problem. So I disassembled it, and this became the palette cleanser, really. And as I was finishing it, I realized, it's something we talked about in critique today, was that I really didn't want it to finish. I really, the past 2 months, there's been no music played. There's no banjo that's been picked up. I do have a guitar in my studio. When something occurs, I document what I'm thinking. A melody will come, so I have it so that I can remember it. But for the most part, I've been committed to just this piece. And as it finished, I realized, well, now what? Now what?
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, right?
No.
You like finishing them.
It's pathetic.
It's pathetic. It's true.
Just kidding.
No, it's true.
I'm fascinated. As one, I'm not musical, but that thing of, does the music come out of a different part of the brain, the creative brain, than the image making, the painting, the eye-hand stuff? Do you almost like feel, oh, I'm kind of over here and this thing as I'm working? And
I have no idea.
yeah,
I really don't. I really don't.
yeah.
I really don't. And even touring is different than the relationship of writing and recording. It's very different. Discovering an idea and a song revealing itself, or you chasing it down, whichever one is happening, is completely different. Like, there's songs that I perform that I have to be standing a certain way to remember the lyrics. And I don't remember the lyrics. I am the lyrics when they happen. But if you say, well, what are the lyrics of that song? I'm like, well, I have to get up and get in the thing.
Wow.
Because it's that muscle memory thing. And whenever it comes to, so like last time I used Instagram, I guess was last year, was to get myself back into that mode. So I knew what the set list was going to be, generally speaking. So I just started doing the set list on Instagram. And it was good for me because I had to remember who that is that plays those songs, because I've been in the, in my studio and the visual art. It's really, that character thing is different, because the character of who I am when I'm painting, it's no less or more real than the character is than when I get on stage with a,
You think it's fundamentally different, though, the studio character and the performing character?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. But I can have fun with it now. It used to feel like life or death. It used to feel like life or death, and now I can look at it like that full of shit thing. like I said this, I was telling somebody last night about it. I know I'm full of shit, but I also know that I'm precious.
Mm.
And knowing both of those things, then I can say, okay, now you can get up there. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know? And in the painting, yeah, I don't know. It's a different thing. It's like making something. It's going in and working. It's more like, building a house. And anything I say up here, Eric, is probably BS.
Mm-hmm. I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
Except the part about, the students. That's not BS. Far
Yeah.
When I talk about anything that I have control of, it's a lie. That's just all there's to it.
Well, I think we probably have to bring this to a close, but
Do they do questions?
I don't know. Do we do questions? It's entirely up to you if we do questions. So why don't we open it to questions?
If you're good with that.
Yeah, there's one way up there.
Okay. I have used the same palette since I was in school, and I only alter it by a color or two each time. I would have to say that's got to have a lot to do with it because it limits my ability to make a green more limey versus more army, whatever. And I find myself in that limitation. Then I'll naturally push or lean towards those blues and the warms and the cools that I like, within that realm. It's starting to break a little bit, it's starting to break a little bit, but it's the same palette I've used for 20 years. Yeah. Thank you.
Another question?
Yeah, I saw hers first. Yeah.
So I'm wondering with photography, when you take a picture first and then you paint it, do you look at the picture and paint it, or how do you decide how you're going to use the picture and then paint it?
Yeah. I should answer this. I'd love to hear what Eric says about this too. One, when I was studying, my professor was very anti-photograph. He was a student of Philip Pearlstein, and he wanted me to paint from life religiously.
End of discussion period.
It was hard
Yeah.
for me. I had this guilt about using photographs, but I did because I liked it. I did paint from life too, but there's a different relationship when I set up a pose to photograph. Very different relationship versus if I'm taking pictures of a kid playing and that's just happening. So when I spend a long time with a pose, it feels like I've drawn the image. Mm-hmm. It feels like I've drawn it because I've spent a lot of time with it, setting it up, looking at the light, changing the light. So that's a very different relationship than just snapping it with a phone. What do you think, Eric, about your relationship with the photograph? Because I'm working from a screen now, usually.
Mm-hmm. What I've learned is that if you're a painter trying to describe something, you paint from nature, you are seduced by infinite detail, right? The deeper you go, the more that it reveals itself, and the sort of thrill of trying to, figure out how to paint that dewdrop on a leaf, et cetera, is incredibly seductive. And when you finish a painting from life, you have something that looks like it's from life. And if you paint from a photograph, that same seduction in terms of capturing detail is present. But a photograph is a abbreviated, codified reality. It doesn't have all the real detail. And so when you pursue it, at the point you stop, you end up with something that looks like a photograph, right? So those are the two differences. For myself personally, the thing that I find necessary and compelling is that photography slices life so thinly. What is it, a 32nd of a second or something like that, that everybody's in motion. Because you're constantly either, shifting your weight a little bit, leaning a little forward, slightly turning, whatever it is, you don't actually get stillness. And if you're a narrative painter, you need motion. You need something that starts the story. So I'm dependent on photography for finding that figure, that gesture that is, just starting to move. And then the painting becomes about, where are they moving to? Are they moving towards something, away from something? There's, you just follow a storyline. So that's how I use photography in that way. And I'm not a photographer. I don't see the whole frame. I only see the thing I'm looking at, this one figure, etc. So it's a different. Maybe one more question, or what? There's a woman up there.
Scott, I know that you have grown larger. You do a large scale interpretation with your art. So how did you decide to do that as opposed to a smaller scale?
It's pretty practical. In that it was a relationship to a studio that I had in Concord, North Carolina, which was it was like 20 feet ceilings, and it was probably 1,800 square feet, and I had scaffolding in it, but it was the space, the way I looked at the space, and actually we had a little art crawl there where we made work. Some friends of mine, we would just open the door and people would come in. This was probably 2004-ish or 3. But that space called for larger scale. And so I did. That's what I could see in there. And I told myself, I'm going to make this series of paintings for this wall. But after I did that, I realized it's what I want to do. It's what I'm not going to stop. And then I realized also when I'm in the space, I'll tend to try to push out of the space, no matter how big it is. From the piece you saw there, like I can't even fit it in there. And so now it's time to move to another, the studio needs to expand. And so we'll see then. So it might have it's a little bit of both of those things. I might tend to try to push out of them, blow it bigger than it is. That might just be a tendency. Eric and I have talked a lot about, and I'm sure a lot of artists talk a lot about your stroke. And when I was painting in that studio, it was a larger stroke that I was starting with, like Eric and I spoke about. So that has to do with it too, because if you're moving like this, it's got to have room to move and to take that stroke. But big is so powerful with paintings.
I wonder if this is way off the wall, but as a musician and as a performer, it's a large projection, right? And so I'm wondering if the painting sort of has that same relationship to you, where you're trying to fill the room.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. I've been trying to fill space. That's been the name of the game.
The reason I say that too is that it is particular to the musical sensibility. There's other artists where it's a gravitational pull. It's about moving into a smaller world or something as well.
100%. And if you busk, because Seth and I did a lot of that, you realize, to get the attention of someone, and then or filling bigger spaces, you're working for that. You're trying to capture that. So I got to believe that. Also, the eye for stage design and the space that we inhabit, it calls for that as well. And we think in those terms a lot, I think. Definitely. Maybe we'll do one more question. Pick, Eric.
There's one over there. There's a guy over there with the hat.
How do you know a song or a piece is
It's a great question.
They can finish several times. You know what I mean? They're finished. A lot of times they're finished and we keep going, and they're finished again and they're finished, and we can decide, which finish is the best for us. And we certainly most times go too far and then come back. There's usually a redux, which is different. With painting, you can paint over, but you can't take away what you've done. And in recording, it's nice to reduce and have a redux. So a little more like chipping away at marble. What was it that we were talking about that the thing revealed? So in thinking of a sequence of songs, that's really knowing when a sequence or a body of work is finished is it's really sensitive, because you can find all these ways. You think you start with more, fill up, once again, fill the space with the content, and then start pulling out, removing, moving, and then all of a sudden it reveals itself. There's no doubt that songs do that as well. And we always know when we've gone too far. That's definitely the easy answer to that is once you've gone too far, you come back to that last good spot. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that you know when it's finished because you stop and then your brother finishes it.
That's
I mean, maybe I didn't understand what you were talking about earlier, but
no, that's right. We finish when one of us says, "Fine, have it your way."
yeah. There was one question over here. Let's finish with that.
Yeah. When what happened? What was that part? Oh yeah. Yeah. It's funny because mostly growing up in the 80s, you wouldn't think this, but our house it's really cliche, but it was a very little house on the prairie, upbringing. We lived down a dirt road. We had a horse and some pigs, and my dad built the house, and the land was given to him. It was like this whole thing. But the main point for that, where it was really encouraged, was he played songs. He played songs. He played the guitar and sang songs to us. We played a game where he would draw a shape, and he'd slide it over, and you'd have to finish it. I do this with my kids now. We would go to church, and church consisted of us drawing characters of the church members, like cracking up, to where my mom is like, "Jim, stop." Like, we're like, "God, look at this." I mean, the back of a whole family, he was the profiles. It was always with the lips and the chins, and so that sort of play, because you're growing up in blue collar, small town America. It's not like on the surface, hey, entertainment, creativity is a living. It's not looked at like that, but you dig a little further and you realize, God, there's creatives everywhere, and it's all around you. And so I think that they never disallowed that to be viable. They always offered inroads for us to follow if we were curious in something. And when we put things down, I quit playing piano when I was in 7th grade because kids were making fun. It was sissy to them. And where I was at, that's pretty normal in 7th grade for your friends to say, "Let's go play soccer. What's with the piano thing?" And so I quit. And so Seth and Bonnie can, play circles around me. I wouldn't know what to play on the piano. If somebody said, "Play the piano for me," right? I said, "I have no clue what to do." And that's because I was playing soccer. See what I get? No, but they let us put the things down, pick them up. And going to that, like the serious things, like I always go back to church. We were so lucky to have parents that were encouraging and telling us, "You are going to be the best." If you collect garbage in the neighborhood, you are going to be the best at it. If you're a teacher, you're going to be the best teacher. You're going to be great. You're going to be great. You are great. You're going to be great. And we were so privileged with love, with people that were telling it, like, what the heck? How could that happen? And so we believed it. And that's the key, like, because everybody's that. Everybody is that. Everybody is that great. But we all have different levels of what we're told when we're little or when we're older. So we were so blessed with that. And we carried that on in with this idea that you could make a living playing songs, do it yourself. It's crazy. I mean, it's really, really crazy, but it's not impossible. I had one last thing. Oh yeah, with church, the serious things. Our dad was always like, don't take this stuff so serious. You know, it's okay. It's okay. God was always no, I'm not saying throw it out. I'm just saying don't get all worked up about it. Let it flow. Let it flow. It's okay. It's okay because people are going to get mad about that stuff. They're going to say this is this and this is that. And you're going to have your own thing, but take it easy. There's plenty to laugh about. There's plenty of church members to draw. and you know, making art is a way of that, dare I say, a way for that worship to happen, because we're scratching at the unknown. We're scratching at that mystery, and we can call it all kinds of things, and it's okay. I don't know. I could go on, but I'll just get myself in a deep hole, and I won't know what I'm saying anymore. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you, Scott and Eric,
Thank you,
for
Jay.
sharing your conversation, your inspiration with us tonight. I have the honor of wrapping things up and extending some more thanks tonight before we go. My name is Jay Harden. I'm painting and drawing faculty at Phoenix College. Thank you, Eric, for your dedication to our program and to our students. We're so fortunate to work with you, and please join me in thanking the Fischl program supporters once again, and our partners. The Platinum sponsor, Veritech Solutions. Thank you, John and Lisa. Thank you also to Art Solutions and Installations. Blick Art and photographer Matt Young. As well as Dan Withers and Lisa Setti as well. Thank you. Our goal is to grow the Fischl program, and with your help, we are. And we sincerely thank you for that. Also, I'm just one of many faculty members at Phoenix College, and I have the fortune and the luck to work in such a fantastic school and among such great colleagues. And I please ask Tiffany Bailey to stand up, our faculty in ceramics. And Jennifer LaFoon, photography. They're working behind the scenes and working with our students day in and day out, as well as so many fantastic adjunct faculty who are here with us tonight. Carolyn Lavender, Kim Boge, Ben Willis, Lisa Hoffner, Chris Vena. Please stand up, faculty. And thank you to our IA and IT departments for all your work, for making this event possible. Thank you to the Phoenix Art Museum for being our partner in this program. Congratulations to the 2023 Student Art Award winners. Congratulations once again. And if you haven't had a chance, I think most of us had, to see the artwork outside. The museum is closing soon, but you can take one more quick look at it before you go. And I will let you know that on Monday, April 17th, at the college, at the Eric Fischl Gallery, we have a full exhibition of all of the work that was juried into the show. So congratulations to all of our students, and thanks for joining us tonight.